Good afternoon. My name is Candace Prince. I'm with Green Hope Project. We are super happy to have Shelby Ruff with us to talk about Eco El Paso.
Hi, my name is Shelby Ruff. I am the president of the board of directors for Eco El Paso. So Eco El Paso is a local 501c3 nonprofit focused on sustainability here in the El Paso region. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and take you guys through some of the programs that we're working on that you can get involved in. Plus, just to let you know about things that you may not even quite be aware of right now. And I think it's all of our part to get involved locally one way or another, however you feel most appropriate. So this is Eco El Paso. So I moved out to El Paso about 8 or 9 years ago and found Eco El Paso, stumbled into them and joined because I really wanted to volunteer and make a difference locally. And so I was lucky enough that there was a team of volunteers in 2008 that created Eco El Paso, then became a formal 501c3 in 2009. And then we are focused on sustainability in the hot, arid desert climate of El Paso. So everything we do, we're factoring local weather, local climate change, pollution, all of the different factors, but specifically to the El Paso region, because every city and every population is a little bit different. So we've done a lot of things, right? We help bring Soul Smart Gold through our public policy initiatives with the city and city council. We practice what we preach. We drive, electric vehicles from Teslas to the Chevy Volts. And, a lot of us have solar panels. We actually get out. These are our board members actually out in the community on their Saturday time off, actually planting trees through the different grants and through the different programs that we offer. But in short, we focus on sustainability. I think that's the easiest way to say it, whether it's at home, at work, on the road, wherever you are, there's a way that you can start living a more sustainable lifestyle, reduce your pollution, your carbon footprint, and protect Mother Earth and nature, because I don't think that people are quite aware of their impact around them. And so we have a laundry list. I won't go through them all, but from our membership program, public policy, we have an annual conference. We focus on renewable energy. We have a brand new program focused on giving solar systems away to local nonprofits. Our tree program called Million Trees El Paso. We have a variety of different initiatives for electric vehicles and driving electric in our region, whether it's your home, a bus, or a semi. We're also the new West Texas chapter for Texas Solar Energy Society, which we want to talk about that. And then we're very big on all of the utility issues and the rate cases and all of the power plant problems and equity and equality issues that are going on out here. And then we like to have fun. We typically, pre-COVID, we used to have a monthly event. We'd get together called Eco Brews at different restaurants and bars, basically places that had food that we could get together and trade swap stories and ideas and policy. But we have a program. We would really love your support. So whether you're a student for $20, $25, or if you're a corporate member from $500 to $15,000, we have all types of membership levels. Whether you're a young student, just want to learn more, or if you're a professional engineer or architect locally, especially anyone in the green building industry, solar energy industry, and all the related clean energy industry jobs. But we focus on fundraising and volunteering and advocacy and changing public policy and, changing things that actually happen here on the ground where we live. And that, like I said, lots of different levels. You can donate your time, money. Obviously, money lets us create cool programs and do stuff, which we give 100% back since we are all volunteers. None of us, you're on a salary or hourly. We're all volunteers for the local community just to give back. And so part of that was creating public policy. So we helped advocate at City Council to create the REAC, which is Regional Renewable Energy Advisory Council. So through our board members, we advocated to create this program in order to work directly with City Council and to advocate for public policy. And that gets us directly to the source, to every single City Council member and the mayor, where we can put in writing public policy that they can review with notations, with all the research that they can go back and double check our work, advocating for a fully 100% sustainable city, right? We want the city to run on 100% renewable energy. And this is our way to help advise that, plus to help push them to help educate the public on how they can do that at home as well. But if you want to get involved, please join REAC. Part of that, we brought SolSmart through REAC. And we got I think it was the first gold designation in Texas. And it's all about breaking down the barriers to going solar, whether it's you're a homeowner or a solar business or the city or the electric utility that's in partnership. We want to break down all the barriers to help everyone go solar quicker, cheaper, faster. Like I said, that was really fun. Bunch of volunteers. We took some photos. Some of these members are even no longer with us, so they did their part for El Paso. And so the core of what we do is education, right? We want to give back. Almost everything we do is free education except for our annual conference, whether it's a $200 engineering ticket where you can get continuing education credit, CNU, whether you're an architect or an engineer. We offer the ability to get those continuing education credits with our annual conference, but then we offer a wide variety of educational events throughout the year for free. We try to publish as many things as we can on YouTube, on our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the social media, all the interweb things that are out there. We try to be really active and put as much free information out there. Plus, we want to partner with all the local nonprofits like Sunrise, like Earthworks, like all the other sustainability focused type of nonprofits. And like I said, here's our YouTube, lots of different videos. Go check it out. It covers a wide variety of topics from solar to trees to pollution to climate justice. You name it. There's a wide variety of videos, including last year's annual conference, which was completely virtual, which our 14th annual conference will be this year, both virtual and in person. So look out for more education. But if you would like to get involved, help us work with any of the school districts, private schools, anyone that wants to get involved and help us create curriculum, please contact us. But we are the core of what we do is education at Eco El Paso. And so, like I said, we have our annual conference. We really recommend that you attend, whether it's general public for a $20 or $25 ticket. These are typically 1 to 3 day conferences. Due to COVID, it'll be a little bit different. During the pandemic, it might be a 1 or 2 day conference online and in person. So you might be able to buy tickets for both options this year. But stay tuned. We will have our annual conference again in 2021. And it might be partially on site and virtual for those that can attend, and as well as continuing education credits for engineers and architects. And like I said, we focus on sustainability. The big buzzword these days is solar, right? But we focus on all types, whether it's geothermal technology, which doesn't get enough attention, which is going to be the next big one, wind energy, battery storage, and all the public policy and clean energy jobs that come with that. We are here advocating for that to build a better El Paso, whether it's bringing jobs, bringing businesses, the public policy with the city and local businesses, or the education of homeowners of how they can go solar. I think it's a no-brainer nowadays, especially with financing options and zero down solar, whether it's solar hot water heating, solar electricity, solar pool heating, it all exists. And why do we do that? Well, it's a free fuel source. There's no natural gas or oil or nuclear, or there's no waste. There's a whole wide industry of solar panel recycling that is exploding right now, and new businesses coming up every day that are going to help reduce any sort of waste that comes from retiring solar panels. But this is why we do it, right? The sun shines every day. Let's go capture it. All right. We don't need the dirty options. We're poisoning ourselves. It doesn't make sense. If you just think about what we're doing to ourselves, It just needs to end, right? You don't need a PhD in, utility electricity or climate change or environmentalism to realize that dirty energy is not the way of the future. It's not what we need. We need to protect ourselves and our health, right? And there's a lot of clean options out there. They're prettier to look at. They create a lot of jobs. They have way more jobs in the oil and gas industry right now in the United States, way beyond that, and growing rapidly. So I think there's a great way to transition the industry as well. And like I said, whether it's your home, your business, whether it's for the city, or for nonprofits that we want to partner with to go solar, DG Solar is the way to go. You save money on day one. We're here to educate the public on how to do that and make it easy for them. Solar is simple. Put it on your rooftop, put it on a pole in a field, put it on a ground mount, wherever it can go that's unimpeded from shade. We want to help you go solar. It just makes sense. Right? So whether it's east, south, or west, you can go solar. The sun rises in the east. South is perfect facing if you have a southern facing roof, followed by west and then east, nothing north facing. And we do that because if you look at the solar radiation map, it's a gold mine here when it comes to solar energy. If you look at El Paso and you zoom in and then you look at the rest of the United States, and then you look over to the far right corner, you see Germany. That's Germany's very low sunlight, and they're powering almost their entire country on solar, right? If they can do that with that amount of sunlight, and then everyone in Alaska seems to have solar, look at their sunlight penetration. And then you look at El Paso, you look at Tucson, and you look at Phoenix and Las Vegas and San Diego and Los Angeles, right? This is the hotbed all the way up through Santa Fe and Albuquerque. This is where you need to go solar. The same solar panels with the same price of installation make 15 to 20% more electricity in El Paso than they do in San Antonio, Austin, Waco, or Dallas. El Paso is a unique place where you can really take advantage of saving money and in the end, making a lot of money off your rooftop, whether you live in your house for the rest of your life or whether you sell it. There's a premium for homes with solar. And like I said, another view from National Renewable Energy Laboratory, which we recommend that you check them out. They're an excellent resource. They have a lot of data, a lot of really smart people. But like I said, look at El Paso. It just makes sense to go solar if you can afford to do it, or if you can do no money down loan, which I've done both, and I recommend it. A better view, if you zoom in a little bit better on just Texas to show you the contrast in solar sunlight hours that you can get from your rooftop. Same thing in southern New Mexico. Look at Las Cruces, Truth or Consequence, Socorro, Alamogordo, all the way up through Albuquerque and Santa Fe. It's a really strong market for solar. And like I said, roof mount, ground mount, pole mount. A lot of these are systems that I've actually installed. The two on the right are. So solar, it just makes sense, right? This is not a foreign technology. It's been around for 70 years. It runs outer space. It's just, there's a lot of smart people that have been using it for a long time. Again, these are a lot of systems that I've installed over the years, all over Texas and Colorado and New Mexico. My house is on there. I go solar, right? I don't just talk about it. I really do it. I've had it since I've moved into my home in El Paso. Couple more shots. Lots of flat roofs, not a problem. You want a pergola, you want to build a deck cover or something, you can cover that in solar. If you're a business, please go solar. Your employees will love you. Because you can put in charging stations and they could plug in, but everyone in El Paso needs shaded, covered parking. There's so much sun here that it's a huge employee benefit. Plus, you could take advantage of it to power your building, go net zero, provide electric vehicle charging, be sustainable. Everyone talks about solar panels, but there's also solar thermal hot water heating. There's also solar pool heating, which I have on my home. Then there's a lot of options that you can do as well with battery storage. So this is one of those examples in Denver, Colorado, or no, not in Denver, southern Colorado, where we installed solar plus battery storage. Like I said, battery storage is also not new. Don't worry if you can't afford a Tesla solar wall, which they're super cool and fancy. Batteries are batteries. If you take apart that solar wall, it's just a bunch of batteries. But there's a lot of options, whether it's to run your home fully off grid, if you're living off grid, or if you just want backup power, right? For an outage, right? You want your refrigerator, your freezer, you want the front porch, the back lights, you want all the lights in your home to still turn on. Maybe you're not going to put in batteries for your AC and heater, but if you want emergency power, I think every home in America should have it. All right, as well as every business, as well as every utility, as well as, every school, which El Paso could do a lot with putting solar panels on every single school in town. And so here's one of our newest programs, right? We have our nonprofit solar giveaway. So we haven't really advertised this yet. We're raising money and about to do the first install, but we're giving away solar energy systems fully installed to other nonprofits in town, right? You have to own your building. You have to have been in business for a while, right? You have to put in an application and tell us your story. But the idea is to give back to nonprofits, because typically those are the ones, other than low income homeowners, are the hardest to go solar, right? Because they don't get to take advantage of the 20, 30% tax credits, all the different tax incentives that can go into different commercial or residential projects, they can't take advantage of. And so we thought this would be a great way to go after a lot of really, really amazing nonprofits in the El Paso region. We show up, we work with local distributors, local manufacturers of solar products, solar companies, big and small, that donate their products, and local installers that will do all the paperwork, all the labor, all the warranty, work with the electric utility and the permitting office, and actually getting it installed and turned on and working. So that way they can take that money and put it right back to their nonprofit and focus on their core mission, whatever that may be, and save those dollars, whether we can save them $100 a month or $500, $600 a month. And I believe in our first giveaway, just to put a teaser out there, we're going to put 52 solar panels that are over 300 watts each on a large local nonprofit in El Paso. So we're super excited. More to come on that, and we'll have a lot of details around it. But here's another great one that we have focused on electric vehicles locally because it's really going to help create job growth. It's going to help with our pollution in El Paso, especially as being a commuter city and a pass-through city. If we can get, semis, commercial vehicles, and all the local residential vehicles electric, all the school buses electric, we thought that this was a great initiative in what we do in sustainability. And so we have created a festival every year in partnership with the National Drive Electric Week. It's a 1-week honor to electric vehicles every year, and we're going to throw our third annual festival this year, hopefully in person. We'll let you know. It'll probably be both in person and streamed online. That's a free event where you can see hundreds of different electric vehicles and local owners who bought them, who drive them every day. And then we also created the local chapter. One of our board members, Jonathan Macias, created the chapter for the Rio Grande Electric Auto Association, which is in partnership with the National Electric Auto Association, which is a large nonprofit in representing West Texas and Southern New Mexico. So if you have an electric vehicle, please sign up. If you want an electric vehicle, sign up. If you just want to learn more and follow it and come to all of our events and be involved in the discussions and the separate Facebook page that we have, please become a member. But we might have another board member on here, Jonathan. I'm not sure if he's here. Let him as well sort of talk a little bit more about the Electric Auto Association that we have.
Thank you so much, Shelby. I appreciate that. So just as Shelby shared, we did recently launch that local chapter of the Electric Auto Association known as the Rio Grande EAA. You can find us at rgeaa.org, and I'll take you directly to our page for you to find out more about us. I think one thing that's important for all of us to consider is that we're all neighbors in this area. And one of the reasons we thought it was important to call the chapter the Rio Grande is that we really look to our neighbors to the north, starting as far north as maybe up there by Deming, where they already have some charging infrastructure to allow for mobility within the region, as well as our neighbors in Las Cruces and all of the surrounding areas within Doña County. And then following the magical waters of the Rio Grande, we come down and we make our way into El Paso as well, and think about even as eastward as Marfa and Fort Stockton because of the charging availability along that route. So I encourage, if you know anybody that's thinking about going and driving an electric vehicle or obtaining one, we are here as a resource. Many of us already have previously owned multiple EV vehicles. I myself have owned 3. I did not start right away with the Tesla. I actually started with a lease on a Nissan Leaf, which was a great car. And then I went to another one, another vehicle that had like a range extender. And now I do find myself in a Tesla similar to the one that's shown here. But that's just because I was able to save over many years and then ultimately wanted a vehicle that could allow me to do road trips, especially right now during the pandemic where perhaps doesn't make sense as much to travel via an airplane. But in any event, we're here as a resource. I also would like to just put a plug that electric vehicles are great vehicles at any stage of life. I was even thinking about how my sister, who recently had her first kids, actually had a set of twins, how when they become of driving age, it's going to be so great for them to be able to perhaps have their first vehicle as an EV, and they're full of safety tech. There's also very low operation and maintenance costs affiliated with them. And quite frankly, they never have to ask mom and dad for gas money. They can just plug in wherever they're going. And it also gives you a little bit of a artificial tether based on the range on some of those other, those EVs that are a lot more affordable, especially on the used market. The other thing too is that they're great for those of us that are taking care of our parents who are wanting to age in place and may not want to be messing around with vehicles that have oil change schedules or maintenance schedules, especially if they're not driving very much. So often it's just something that we think is only accessible to those with high value portfolios or means, but really the used car prices on these EVs are coming down so much that they're very accessible to everybody. So check us out, look out for our events, and we look forward to seeing you at some of our in-person events, perhaps like a coffee and cars. We will be maintaining social distancing and following all guidelines, but come out and take a little bit of time from the cabin fever we've all been experiencing this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we've actually got a video on our YouTube page of a local user who, talks about these local $10,000 EVs, right? You can get a used Chevy Volt or Bolt for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. There's a wide range, but they're not expensive, right? So we're not talking $30,000, $50,000, $70,000 vehicles. Yes, you can get a $70,000 to $100,000 vehicle that's decked out with every doodad and that's available, but that's not also the exact norm. You can get $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 vehicles that are used with a lot of life left on them. So just to echo that it's not just for the rich anymore. I mean, electric vehicles, if you can afford a vehicle, there's probably a used electric vehicle nowadays that's available. So please just keep that in mind, because I don't think that used to be the norm. And now the used market for EVs is just a huge, lots and lots of, $60,000 to $80,000 Teslas for $30,000 to $40,000 all over the internet. So I recommend that you do your research, especially locally, before you buy your next car in El Paso.
Shelby, may I share one other thing before we move on?
Sure.
You shared earlier, make sure you kind of insinuating, do your research before you get one of these, or don't. If you don't want to do your research, come to us. And feel free to use the benefit of our wealth of knowledge that we've obtained over the years, because a lot of us tend to get pretty excited about what we have, and when we're willing and wanting to share all about this experience. This is also important for those of you that might be shopping here in the Borderplex area for an electric vehicle, because oftentimes the proper training and information has made its way to all of the local dealerships that are here, especially the used car dealerships. So sometimes you might see some of these vehicles on their lots and they're aging and they don't even know what they are, but we're here and we can help you with that and help guide you through what the charging infrastructure looks like in El Paso, or what it looks like in order to plug into your existing solar system so that you can have a way to charge that vehicle, or to just plug it into your existing electrical system, and what are some of the considerations that you need to make. And last but not least, if some of you are finding opportunities, now there's this big awareness and this big opportunity to shop at the comfort of your desk, even for a car. Some companies will let you click and buy, and they come and they drop it off at your front door. And then you get the car and it's like, now what? How do I use all the features that it has? So we're here for that as well. And we can do these kinds of things in social distance settings as well, like a Zoom, and help people get acclimated so they can get the most out of their new purchase. Thank you, Shelby.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so we had our first big event 2 years ago for the National Drive Electric Week Festival that we created. So this is for nonprofits only that partner with a national nonprofit called National Drive Electric Week. And so we are going to have our event again this year. Luckily, we can be outside. A large majority of people are vaccinated. When it comes to outdoor events, it's just so much safer. We'll probably still have a masked event, assuming that the numbers are still, relatively high here in El Paso still in general. But we hope that this will be another outdoor event. Last year we did it virtually. It was fun, but not as fun. This year we want you to come actually see the vehicles. I think our first year we had 50 or 60 different vehicles that came throughout the day. And we're talking about every brand you can imagine, from extremely cheap, affordable, I guess you could say, all the way to the super high-end luxury vehicles. So it was really cool to kind of see every different one of them in the same parking lot at the same time. So this year, 2021, it's September 25th to October 3rd. We'll be announcing the exact date, location here any day now. And when that comes up, we'll let you know. We'll probably have some booths and vendors and food, but just stay tuned for that. So a really cool program that I came up with a while back, that first was just an idea and suckered our board into agreeing to this. But I think it's probably the program that's got the most attention from the public, because talking about trees is very simple. Yes, there's all the environmental, but there's so many different reasons you put in trees, whether it's shade and reducing entire zip code heat levels, right? And lowering temperatures in a city potentially, to, runoff and erosion, creating more habitat, plus the benefit of trees, whether it's fruit trees or what we prefer to plant, which is native and drought tolerant trees that aren't going to put a massive burden on the ecosystem locally. So we really do try to focus on trees that thrive in desert communities. And so we created Million Trees El Paso. Million Trees El Paso, I love it. It's a great program. We get to go out and raise money and give away free trees to the public. So you sign up, you go to our website, you read a bunch of cool information. We take lots of great information from other great minds, like the West Texas Urban Forestry Council and our local city arborist of El Paso, who is an amazing person with lots of knowledge, to the local trails and other nonprofits that we partner with. So we try to focus on homes, preferably starting in underserved communities, but we want to work with all the different communities across El Paso. And we also want to work with schools. We want to work with city parks, which we've done recently. We've even got some videos I'm going to show you here in a second that are in this presentation. But in general, Million Trees El Paso, whether you want to help us donate and raise money for trees, usually we're buying trees that are costing us close to $30, right? These are well-grown, 4 to 7 feet sort of tall, 5-gallon trees. These are all native, right? We're not going after water-hungry, aggressive trees. We're not going after trees with aggressive root systems. We're not going after trees that do not belong here. Plus, we're also going after trees that are going to slowly tap into the water tables here locally that will require less and less hand or irrigation watering over time, because they should belong in a desert environment. But there's a ton of information on our website. To date, we've raised enough money to plant over 170 trees. I think we've got another 500 applications that came in the last 2 weeks alone. So if you saw us on TV, thank you. We appreciate that. But everyone wants trees, but please help us donate and raise money. If you'd like to sign up for an application, please do on our website, ecoelpaso.org. and go check out our page for Million Trees El Paso. But if you have the means and the ability, please donate on our PayPal account on our website. Like I said, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. They're tax deductible. And we can really appreciate whether it's a $30 tree or $30,000. We will take all donations of all sizes to help us raise money to plant more trees in the region. And again, we do it for a lot of reasons, right? There's all of the environmental reasons that there's too many to talk about on this short video. But there's also the curb appeal, right? Whether you want to sell your home or whether you just want to improve the aesthetics of your home, which I think we all want to improve the quality of where we live. And it's because forests are disappearing everywhere. So we need to create our own little micro forests with the right trees, with the right type of watering. And this is our way of giving back, right? And there's a lot of reasons that we want trees, from reducing erosion, providing habitat, providing shade, reducing the heat island effect, reducing the heat on your home, which can reduce your AC bills during the really hot summer months that we have in our region. So if anything, you can do it just to save money on shading your house. So that's just one big one, if not all the environmental reasons, which I think that's a big one I do it for as well. And like I said, there's too many to list. Here's just a snapshot of different trees, lots of palo verdes, lots of purple robinas with really nice purple flowering trees. This past weekend, we did some that had mimosas with very large pink flowers. So we're trying to plant trees that are aesthetically very nice to look at as well, especially when they're full grown. So like I said, we go out, we raise money. We sign up tree advocates, essentially homeowners locally. They can get their neighbors involved to sign up, and maybe if they're physically able to come out and bring a shovel and help us. And then we go out and plant trees, which it's a great event to bring your kids or your students, whether you're young or old, of all ages. It's an amazing opportunity. Everyone loves trees. Everyone's smiling and laughing, making jokes and having fun. It's some of the best events that I've been to so far in El Paso. And then maintenance, right? We go out and do all the work. We raise all the money. We show up and plant it. We educate you. We provide you resources, a website, but you have to water it and maintain the tree. Don't use harmful pesticides like Roundup or all those horrible things that they sell at Lowe's and Home Depot. But you promise to maintain it as best as humanly possible. Water it, give it love, keep it alive for as many years as you can. And if you do that, we take your word and we plant trees, sometimes 1 or 2 trees. Some homes were extremely barren with no shade. We've done 3 or 4 trees, but we try to keep it to 1 or 2 trees per home. So sign up, become an advocate, help us raise money. If you want to help us raise money for grant writing, we would love your help. Like I said, I'm a volunteer. We're all volunteers. So we could always use your help. And so here's a quick little video of something that occurred recently that Jonathan, one of our board members, he is getting pretty good with the drone. And because, come on, who doesn't like drones? Drones are just fun, assuming that you're registered and licensed.
and Shelby, one thing I wanted to mention too is that, and this will be the first time I'm sharing this with Shelby, but I hope you don't mind, is that we would love to take your donations and be able to help get some trees planted. But also, some of these communities are folks that are not necessarily able to plant their own trees. So if they want to buy them and they just need the muscle, we're happy to come out and help them with that as well. In some of these cooperations or partnerships, I should say, that first video featured a partnership with the city of El Paso, as well as the local Lions Club. And they brought out a whole host of people. But also my favorite story from that event is that there was actually a gentleman by the name of Landon who had been already purchasing these trees and planting them himself in areas of the community. And the person that accompanied him, Will, actually found out about our event and said, look, you like doing this so much, why don't you come and find your tribe and do this? So we are open to all kinds of permutations of planting trees. We ultimately just want to help with the pedestrian shading that our neighborhoods need so much, and also get away from the typical thing that happens, which is the builders are not always held responsible for planting trees in our neighborhoods, and then they become heat islands. So we're doing our part in each way to help get away from that.
Yeah, definitely echo that. Landon, that was awesome. We need to get in touch with that young man again. And this was, like we mentioned, Don Haskins Park. This is actually surrounding the splash pad. So because there's so few places that are set up there with picnic tables and rooftops, now this is really going to allow the public, which if you've been there during a busy hot day, which I take my kids there all the time, every tree is going to open up basically another spot for a family to put down a blanket and hang out, right? Which means a lot more of the community can sit there, because usually you'll notice that the crowd's there, you're on one side of the wall or the other trying to get some shade. So I was super personally happy when one of the Lions Club members from the downtown club was in partnership with us for an event. And at the same time, at a previous event that she had gone to, met some of the parks and rec people who basically said, we have our own tree farm. We'll bring a bunch of the trees, you bring the labor, like Jonathan mentioned. So this is one of those great partnerships where we were able to help push the city to help the community, right? Put in even more trees in what is already a super cool park, if you haven't had a chance to go there. Some of the more technical things that we do were against any of the utility issues that were an attack on the rights of solar homeowners, which essentially was a way for the utility to try to tax solar homeowners, which ultimately, after multiple rate cases, they were able to do. So if you were a legacy homeowner, this didn't affect you for 20 years of the date of your installation. So I was lucky to be grandfathered, but all new homeowners, we have to design your system to where we never reduce your bill so much that it goes below $30 total, which is about $20, $22 in electricity and $8 to $10 in fees and other things, right? So every solar company, they're all adding this into how they design your system so it never goes below 30. But essentially, if it ever does go down to zero, they still charge you 30, which is a tax. It should be criminal. It should be outlawed. It's just anti-solar. It's anti-customer. It's anti-everything climate change. It's just pro-monopoly, which we should all be against, right? And so this was one of the rate cases that we fought against. And ultimately the second time around, and by the way, they charge all of you as ratepayers. They charge you the many millions of dollars they spend on every rate case and all their lawyers. And when you fight them and they lawyer up, they ultimately charge you by putting that into the rates. Isn't that amazing? And so that's why we really need to municipalize locally, which is a really tough thing to do. And it's a big cookie that not everyone wants to take on. But luckily there's Earthworks and Sunrise El Paso and Sunrise nationally and other big groups that are involved locally. And we think that we need to get rid of this $30 minimum bill and that people should be able to go net zero. By doing this, they say that El Paso is not open for a net zero community, which is just anti-big business, anti-small business. It's anti-everything that hurts home builders, real estate, home buyers. So we need to end the $30 bill and the tax on solar. And so another thing that's happening locally is to educate the public about the Newman 6 plant, talking about retiring old natural gas for new natural gas. That's not what we need. That's not an advancement. Going from coal to clean coal and old natural gas to more efficient natural gas is horrible. It's bad for West Texas, where they frack it and they've got created wastewater that can never be reused and pollutes the West Texas and Odessa area. Then they pipeline it into El Paso and pollute our own air when we can go solar. And a very, very small 3%, I think, of our electricity comes from solar or less, and we need to change that. So we're against the Newman 6. Please contact the Public Utility Commission of Texas if you would like to make your voice heard. That is the single best way that you can get involved, is to contact the Public Utility Commission of Texas and write them and let them know that you're against this. And on to the fun stuff. Like I said, hopefully Eco Brews will come back soon. Like I said, this is for all ages. We just happen to pick restaurants or bars that have food, but it typically is for all ages. But we try to make it to where families can come and set up and get a table, or you can stand around and hang out and get to meet like-minded people, meet our board members, meet industry professionals, swap ideas. But we really want to, like I said, be involved in the community and the public. And we want to essentially partner, with other nonprofits and businesses in the city. And we're sort of an open door, right? If you have an idea, bring it to us. A couple of years ago that happened, and we now have a whole festival because of that, right? So bring us your ideas. We will try to implement them as best we can. But we hope one day the new normal, whatever that will be, will involve being in public together. So we hope that this will come back. This is sort of on pause. And this is the last one we had, so it's sort of symbolic for me to leave this up here. February 27th was the last one that we had, right when we launched our membership program. What a time. So again, we hope to see you guys soon and help increase our membership. And we do all this as volunteers. None of us get paid. We give 99% of the money back, other than paying for our website and some basic website fees. We give back every single dollar that we give in donations to our programs, right? So we're all volunteers. And for all those that are not board members that volunteer on a very, very regular basis through, whether it's the Paso del Norte Trail System, local businesses that help us, local Parks and Recs Department locally for El Paso, specifically the city arborist of El Paso, and all the local individual volunteers. So thank you so much for all you do. We're trying to do this for everybody and for our local community. And we do that, like I said, through tax deductible donations. So please donate on our website. Please contact us, email us, call us, Facebook us. Usually email is better if you want a more specific dialogue with us, but we're on social media. Check out our website. We try to post as much free content as we can. And we're also a resource. If there's an issue that we can help you with as well, whether it's with a homeowners association or questions about trees or going solar or whatever it may be, or buying an electric vehicle, please contact us. And if we don't have the answer, we'll try to get you in touch with someone who does. And thank you so much for having us. We totally support the Green Hope Project. So anything we can do to help you guys and promote your programs, everything you do, we tend to support. And I think vice versa. And so thank you for speaking at our conference virtually last year. We're happy to speak at your event this year. And hopefully we can both do this again in person sometime soon. But thanks, everyone. Contact us again. We're Eco El Paso. We're volunteers focused on sustainability. And we hope that we can help you if you have any questions.
So if we do have questions, and I have a zillion, it's best just to go through the website, or do you have a...
You can email us. It's info@ecoelpaso.com. .org. Sorry.
Okay. Info at
ecoelpaso.org. Our website is ecoelpaso.org. You can go to the contact us page, so you don't have to write down our phone number or our email address. Just go to our website. All of our contact details are there.
Okay.
If you're into social media, we'd love to interface with you on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube.
Okay.
Check us out, and we'll hope to see you
If
guys
any of
in person one
you
day soon.
if any of you have any questions we could knock out now, we're happy to answer a couple as time permitting.
Yeah, so we have 10 minutes left. That'd be great because we will put this video up on YouTube later. So maybe some people have the same questions. That would be awesome.
So,
Shelby, Jonathan, let me, go ahead, Cindy. I'll follow you. Go ahead.
well, like we had looked into solar power probably 8 years ago, and we're in a little $50,000. Well, I paid $50,000 for my home, 30 years ago. And to put solar on my roof was going to cost $40,000. Like it just made no sense. And then like you, I've heard horror stories of how the electric company supposedly was supposed to like give you credit if you had a lot of solar power, and then they didn't. And now there's these fees. So like, I still want to look into getting solar powered for my home, but I'm like you say, it's easy. I'm confused. It's because like the other thing is maintenance of the solar power. So like they say, oh, you have to clean it. And where would I start?
So many myths to dispel.
So many myths, right
there, all in one.
In one.
So don't think about it as total cost, right? Think about it as this system is going to provide me electricity, and
Right.
I live in a society where I am going to have to pay for electricity, right? If you live in a home, an apartment, wherever you live, you have to pay for electricity one way or another. This is a way to hedge your bet on electricity. So energy prices, historically, if you look back 5, 10, 50 years, they're always going up from an electric utility. They're never coming back saying, yay, we're going to save you money every year. They're going to find a way to charge you more, especially in El Paso. This is their only market. They're just going to find a way to squeeze the rock more. And so prices will continually go up for whatever reason. And so if you think about it, you're going to have to pay for it one way or another. Why not put it on your roof instead of buying it from a local utility? If you overproduce during the day, you have a credit built up that you use at nighttime. You can get your bill down from $500 a month down to 30, which I did, right? So that's a huge savings every month. I also installed windows and put in insulation and put in, 27 windows and like probably 100 light bulbs. And, there's just so many numerous things, doors and all kinds of stuff that I did, right? So it's not just solar. But when you think about it, if your electric bill is $200 a month and your loan to offset that is $150, you're now making $50 a month in profit every month for the rest of your life off your rooftop. So I don't care if it costs you 50 grand or 5 grand or 500,000 for solar. If your loan is $100 and you're saving 150, that's a net profit every single month for the rest of your life, right? And if you get a loan, that loan eventually runs out, right? And so solar typically, especially when you factor in the tax credit that you're going to get right now, I think it's 24%, I think. Someone
26.
online is going to correct me. But it got extended. But essentially with your tax credit, with everything going on, and now that you've got a 25-year warranted system that is going to essentially offset a more expensive electricity over that 25 years, you're going to break even in 7, 8 years probably, right? So I plan on living here in my house for a long time. I've already broken even on my 8 years that I've lived here. So every month after that, I've already made all my money back on my solar investment. I'm making pure profit every single month for at least the next 17 years on warranty alone, right? So I'm making profit off my rooftop today, not in a 401k, not in the stock market, today, right now, right away, right? So you should think about that, especially when you replace your light bulbs and improve your windows and your doors. And then when you can do solar no money down, which means keep your money, whether you're 20 or you're 80 years old, doesn't matter. Keep your cash, right? You can do money, you can do no money down solar loan. You can also do home equity loan through your own bank account, or if you have a mortgage, you can get your own home equity loan, which is usually very, very low rates, right? So you can maybe even beat the rates of the solar companies. And they're usually very short term, right? You're going to pay these off in 5, 10 years. But the idea is you're saving more every month, and no matter what, you got to pay for electricity, no matter what, Wouldn't it be cool to make it on your own rooftop? And even if you can only put up 5 panels, hey, that's 5 panels you didn't have to buy from El Paso Electric or whatever your utility is, right? And not only that, every time they raise the electric rates, the value of your solar panels just went up, which means the profit you make off that solar panel, which since I've been here, rates have gone up and they change. And when the rates shift from the cheap rates to the more expensive rates, which they shift in El Paso, I think from summer to winter, when those rates shift up to the more expensive rates, boom, my solar is now every kilowatt hour that it spends, it's now instead of 9 cents, it's 12 cents or whatever the number is, right? And so if you think about it, you're really making an investment that you have to make no matter what, right? Unless you live completely off grid in the middle of nowhere and you're probably not watching this Zoom, but if you're on this Zoom, you have an electric bill one way or another, right? And so why not just pay for it yourself on your own rooftop?
Shelby, if I may jump in real quick and just share a couple of things with Cindy, I think just from like a stats perspective, one of the things that, because I've been in your similar situation where I got my house quoted almost 8 or 10 years ago. And I think this is a result of not having much competition in our area. My first system that got quoted was close to $25,000 for a home that has about an 8 kilowatt system. And now that same system being quoted today is coming up closer to maybe 13,000. Of course, the federal tax credit has come down. Consult your lawyer or your tax person to see how you could maximize that in your own specific use. But even in that situation, I think you just got to make sure that you read the fine print, because sometimes some folks don't appreciate that some of these systems that are financed through the solar companies use your house as the method to secure the loan. Others don't. So you just have to be able to walk through this with a partner like us or anybody else who you feel comfortable with, and we can help give you our opinion and best assessment for your situation. Because to Shelby's point, it's so modular and everybody's situation is unique, but we want to be able to be here as a resource and help you interface with whoever you feel comfortable getting your quote from.
And I can give you another quick small example personally. I mean, I could fit 40 panels on top of my roof, but I couldn't afford it. I was like, man, that's way too expensive. But I think that's how people think about it. What you need to think about is how much can you afford for solar this year, and how much do you want to invest in an electric bill that you have to pay no matter what. And so what I did is I said, well, I'm going to afford and save up for 8 solar panels, and I installed 8, and that was maybe 6-7 years ago. Then 2 years ago, I saved up that whole time as well, and I could afford 17 more. And so by using Enphase microinverters, instead of this bigger inverter for your whole system, there are these little microinverters that go underneath each panel, right? So think about it like Lego blocks. You can literally do 1 this year, 2 next year, 5 the next year, 8 the next year, in any quantity, assuming it fits and you need it and all those kinds of things. But you don't have to think about it as, man, I can fit 40. We all have dreams and goals, right? Like I didn't own a house until recently. I had many years to save. And same thing with solar. You can figure out what your bill is, but at the same time, that also gives you a way. At the same time, I was able to replace 27 windows in that 8-year period. Then I started replacing doors and weather stripping. Then I put in better insulation in the attics. Right. Then I started putting in weatherized garage doors, because I have 2 garage doors, right, to help protect my office where I get a lot of heat, which helps the HVAC system. Right. So at the same time as reducing my solar, I was reducing other things. Like I want to go geothermal. Next time I need an AC unit, I'm going to put in a geothermal system. Right. So there's ways that you can do it modularly. And there's probably a minimum, right, of like $3,000 to $4,000. Right, for let's say a kilowatt, which is like 3 or 4 panels. So think about it like that, right? For every like 3 or 4 panels, it's like $3,000 or $4,000, and you can piece it together over time. So you don't need a $50,000 loan. You can get a $5,000 loan, and when you pay it off in 3 or 4 years, buy another 5 panels, and then buy another 5. Right, so it's not for the rich; it's for everybody. Right, you literally can install 1 solar panel this year if you wanted to. And it'll save you for the next 25 plus years on a warranty. And it'll probably work for 40 to 50 years, assuming it gets enough rain. If it doesn't get a rain, take a hose to it. And if you want to pay someone to get up there with a microfiber squeegee, that's cool too. But
how often do you have to clean them?
typical weather patterns. I mean, if you're like me, I want to go up and spray them with a hose all the time, because if you do that, they're going to just produce more. But then you start wasting water, and we live in the desert. So, but if you just think about it, if you're a normal homeowner, we've all got a life. What normal weather patterns are factored into the production estimate for your home. That factors in dirt, dust, your zip code, the sunlight, weather patterns for the past like 80 years or whatever's documented. So the estimates that the solar companies give you on, this is your bill, $100 a month, here's your new bill, right? And all the next 12 months lined up, they can usually get very close. If anything, they're going to underestimate to make you happy. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, just think about one solar panel at a time. We can all do it. Small house, big house, trailer, RV. You got an Airstream you like to go. You could put a solar panel on it.
About an Earthship. We'll get those.
Ship, doghouse, whatever.
Like I've got solar lighting for my driveway, right? For motion detectors that I'm putting around the different parts of the house. It's all solar, right? So you can go solar a lot of ways. I've got this is a light and a charger, right? Solar panel. I just stick it over here by my window. I've got 3 or 4 solar cell phone chargers, but they're big battery backups also that I can plug a USB in and plug anything into it with the USB. And just stick it by a window and it'll keep charging while it's charging, right? So you can go solar in lots of little ways, right? And then you can lead up to, you own a house one day, you buy solar panels, you buy an electric vehicle, you integrate the whole thing in circular, right? But don't be overwhelmed with, I got a $50,000 quote. Well, of course you did, because they maxed out your entire rooftop because they want to make money. But if you can afford it, buy 5. And then if they do a good job, say, hey, I'm going to call you next year and buy 5 more. And they're probably going to be 5% cheaper every year too, which is kind of cool. And for me, the same 270 watt solar panels that I've added 25, my next 12 that I'm buying this year, they're the same size and they're 320 watts. So they've gone up 50 watts in the exact same square footage, right? So they're more dense. And so now I'm actually going to be able to squeeze in a larger kilowatt system on my rooftop than I thought I could. So there's all kinds of advantages, right? But you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
No,
As you can see, we're very excited to talk about.
Yes, that's
This is the
awesome.
kind of the wealth of
All right.
information that you will have accessibility to. So I will defer to how much more time we have. But Gary, it sounded like you might have had a question. So as much time as we have, we're happy to.
Thank you guys thank you guys for what you do. So back to Cindy's point, actually our house is ready with insulation, doors, windows, trees, landscaping, all of it is ready. The price was ridiculous, but it sounds like it's come way down. So great. Shelby, I wanted to tell you in the tree farm, the city's actually letting theirs go. El Paso Water Utility selling that plot of land. So I made a call. I talked to John White and the county started the old county's tree farm at Escalante Park, which is good. The problem with all of this stuff is the scale, and everything we do little by little is great, but you have to have a public partner that really cares. And when you make decisions to end the tree farm, and you don't plan with the community where, what's the alternative? Well, it turns out the county's doing theirs, but why wouldn't we all know that? And, if you look at it, you realize the disconnects that occur, and they're political disconnects, but the scale of the problem is so great that 1 million trees is really, you're spot on. The question is, you've got to have a public partner that's as interested as we are to move the ball forward. And that's not ever been consistent here. It's been inconsistent. And there's times that they step up, but there's other times they don't. We don't have a sustainability officer anymore. We did have some sustainability folks. That's going. So I appreciate what you do, but I wanted to know on the tree farm, on the city side, that's going, gone. If there's trees to be rescued, John White, you can follow up with John. On the good side, the county's going to have a tree farm. That's great. My frustration is the public-private partnerships could just be a lot stronger than what we've seen. And that's leadership, and that's not you guys. That's the public side leadership,
Yeah.
particularly with
Well, Gary, if I may say, I'm gonna challenge that just a little bit and say that it's not us, but in a way it is us as community members to hold our leadership accountable. Because I think, without getting too into the weeds, I think we've seen the lack of partnership and collaboration even between the government agencies. In the last year, I think there have been some questionable missteps with coordination between the intergovernment agencies, even on pandemic response. So I think we can, I love that you've mentioned all this, because I think we can go back and take this information and say, we expect more of our community, we expect more of ourselves. What can y'all do now that we're also here to help, and also function as like a brain trust on the matter, because we do have a lot of experts in the community that are ready to be activated.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of interest. And the good news is, we have the nonprofit sector, you all and Candace and others that are doing great work, and everybody can vote. So, get out and vote and get engaged and be a citizen and plant a tree. I'm totally spot on with what Shelby's doing. 1,000,000 trees. It's a fabulous goal. The Community Foundation works with West Texas Urban Forestry Council on that tree poster, and we'll keep that thing alive. We all do our part, but the scale, really what I'm talking about is the scale could be so much more, and that's where we do have to hold folks accountable. That's the trick, the scale. Anyway, that's my sermon for today. Thanks.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you, Green Hope Project. Thank you, Candace.
Yeah, thank you guys. So again, if anybody's interested and you're tuning in and hearing this recorded, go to info@ecoelpaso.org if you have any questions. And I'm looking forward to the brew nights. I'm looking forward to the cars, and was it cars and coffee? Is that what it was?
Yes, I want to do I want to get all kinds of buzz going, whether it's electric motors or getting our caffeine buzz on, or tea for those of you that need an herbal option.
Okay. Hanging out with cool people like you, plus food, plus drinks, plus cool cars. It sounds awesome. So I'm definitely, is the way people can find out about these days and times, it's going to be on your social media?
Yeah, so on our website, you can go to the bottom, ecoelpaso.org. You can sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter is where we send out all kinds of stuff, whether it's volunteer or if it's, hey, we haven't written you in 2 or 3 months. We are not so organized that we spam you every 2 weeks. So don't worry if you sign up for a newsletter. We will not fill up your inbox. But when we do email you, it's usually for opportunities, speaking events, tree planting events. Like I said, we've got a couple upcoming, but please go to our website. But definitely, if you're a Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, if you're on those, we're there too. Or just email us or call us and we'll get back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for all you guys do. Thank you for making the time to come. But I don't know how you guys sleep. Like so much. Like your list of stuff is phenomenal. But thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Y'all have a great weekend.